So that was a good one again. 2 spot on divots there. Where am I entering the ground? Where's my low point? Hi guys, Danny Malcolm here at the Perth Golf Centre studio, and today I've got 3 key drills that's guaranteed to improve your ball striking. No matter whether you're practicing on mats or whether you're practicing out on the grass, don't worry, I've got you covered today. So firstly, what's the main concern when it comes to ball striking? I mean, let's be honest, those fat and thin shots, so frustrating. And why are they happening? Well, typically it's because the low points of the golf swing there is just too far behind the golf ball. Now we're assuming here for irons or fairway woods, we're not talking about driver, that's slightly different of course, but with your irons, typically I see players with a low point too far behind. Now that can cause a strike that's early into the ground. It's going to be heavy, particularly on those wet, boggy days, and it's really just going to stick into the ground, and you get those fat shots that go nowhere, so frustrating. Or if the ground's a little bit firmer, or as the club's coming back out of the ground, we can catch the ball thin on the way back out. Again, not ideal. So it can also be caused by thin shots. You can have the arc depth too high. Fat shots, again, you can have a good low point, but the arc depth's just too low, getting into the ground early. But typically we're going to discuss just this low point relative to the ball. Now, we do, just to be clear, we do want that low point after the golf ball, the lowest point of your swing. Depending on your club speed, 2, 3, 4 inches after the ball would be ideal. The more speed, the more forward. Less speed, maybe not quite as far forward. But let's give you some great training. Now, the first one is a progressive towel drill that you can do if you're indoors on the mats. Now, let's be honest, the mats can be a little bit deceiving because you can semi-get away with some slight mishits, because if you do hit a little bit behind the ball here, you can get the club bouncing back off the mat, and you can still get a reasonable result if you do get it a little bit heavy. Now, if I hit even further back here, of course, it's not going to go as far, but I still got a result. Now, if you do that on a wet day out on a golf course, that's not going to go as far as that's gone there. It's just going to travel a few feet in front of you probably. So there's a certain element of getting away with it on mats. If you've got the advantage of a launch monitor, of course, you're going to get some good data to understand exactly what's happening. But typically, myself, when I grew up as a junior, I practice off mats all the time. Not ideal, but we've just got to make the best of what we have and be grateful for the practice facilities we do have. But if you can get on grass, obviously that's beneficial as well. But let's give you a great training here with a towel. So you need a towel and or some chalk or some foot spray, or here I've got the strike spray, because we want to get a little bit of awareness of where we're striking it. So first I'm just going to coat a little bit of a line here with the spray. Now you can use masking tape for that, you can use chalk for that. Here I've got the spray. And then what we want to do is get a towel. Now if you've got a small thin towel like me there, I would recommend just folding that in half, folding that in 2 there, just to build it up a little bit. And I would encourage you just to start with that, about 2 club heads widths. Now I've got my 7 iron, 2 club heads widths behind where your ball is going to start on this first line. So that's where we're going to start it. Now, if we were hitting a shot here, we'd like to see the ball just on the target side of that line, or the chalk, or the masking tape, because what we're looking for to get it correct is get that club just striking the bottom quarter of the ball there, which will be on about the 4th groove or so on the club face. Then the ball goes, and then we start to enter the ground just underneath the ball, just after the ball. Lowest point's about here of the swing, and then the club comes back out of the ground. Now, what I love to do with players is progress this by going without a ball to start with. Now, for a player that's got the low point too far back, typically they're hanging back, typically something's happening to get the low point too far back. So without thinking about your technique, this will kind of fix your technique without thinking about your technique, just by focusing on tension. So first, I would do some swings just with the towel here, and can you start to land the club after that line, and obviously miss the towel as well. So that's just an added sort of aid there. Now, if I don't get that right, you'll see that a lot in the early stages of that drill. So what I like to do is then progress that. So stage 2 for this drill is just going 1 club head's width behind where your ball would be. So now I bring that towel forward, so it's making it even more challenging. Starting in the same position, but now I'm going to really just try and extend that low point that divot, if you will, further forward. So from here, now I'm going to have to work harder to miss that towel. So I've got to really shift forward. Now I'm not thinking about that, just the intention is going to help. Now if you film that on camera, you'd see a better movement, better mechanics without thinking about the mechanics. Now stage 3, the final stage of this, I'd bring it all the way to that line, basically to the ball there. Again, starting without the ball. Now this is a great one for those that really struggle with hanging back or low point too far back. Now you've got to seriously get that low point visualizing like it's over here somewhere. So from here, now that is, surefire way to shift that low point plenty forward. Now that would of course be too much for a stock shot, but I love to exaggerate. If you've been here, you need to feel what it's like to be here, guys. You need to feel what it's like to be there. So when you actually play, you're somewhere there or thereabouts where you want to be. Now again, if you get this wrong, you're going to clatter into the towel, and it's just great additional feedback. So now we're outdoors and we're going to move on to the progressive divot drill. So similar to what we did indoors, but now we're going to use our divots as the feedback. So for this, 2 tees, score yourself a line in the ground here with a tee and pop a tee either side or either end of that line. Now for this exercise, we're going to start without a ball and try to get the club landing after that line and creating a divot and progressively shifting that forward. So first swing here. So you can see that divot was after the line, probably a little bit too far, but as a skill building exercise, that's a great start. And from there, now we're going to progress it further. So we do 3 swings. The second swing, can we now start our divot on the end of that previous divot and extend it a little bit further? Starting from the same setup position, I'm going to swing and try and start the divot here. So now you can see I've progressively extended that divot. And then I'm going to make a third swing, extending it that little bit further. So now starting at the end of that divot, same setup position. And so you can see there I've progressively extended that divot forward. So these feels, that exercise there really helps you shift that low point forward. A great one for if you're hitting too far behind or your low point is too far back. So by going from one extreme to the other, you're better able to find more of the center. So now we move on to number 3, which is calibrating your low point. So we're going to start here with outdoors. And so for this, you can use the same setup. Again, just marking the tees, a bit of a line here. And this time we can start without a ball, building your skills. You can even start with slower swings, depending on your skill level. And can you start the divots right on or after that line, and then gradually build up the speeds? And then you can progress to a golf ball. So what I'm going to do here, I'll go 5 shots, maybe 10 shots, depending on time, and just start to see after those shots, where's your pattern? Is it still behind the ball? Have you calibrated it quite well? So I'll just hit a couple here. So normal setup position. So that one was a very good one there. So then I'll try another shot. And you can just walk down the line, hitting some shots, and just see how dialed in you are with this. So that was a good one again. 2 spot on divots there where I've started, I've caught the bottom quarter of the ball. Divot started right underneath or just after the golf ball. The low point's ahead of the ball by a few inches, 3-4 inches, and then the club comes back out of the ground. So you go through that exercise, and then after 5 or 10 shots, you could look down relative to your line that you created in the grass. Where are your divots starting? So you start to see a pattern, and if it's good, great. You're calibrating quite well. If it's still too far back here, then you need to go back to some of those progression exercises. So just a great one to calibrate. And now we'll move back indoors and we'll do the same calibration exercise on the mat. Okay guys, so finally with the calibration indoors in the studio or on the mats there, again we need our chalk, our masking tape or our spray, and I'm going to just spray a line again just to give us our reference point for our low point there. So to calibrate, now we've worked on the progressions to do it wrong, if you will, to get it right, going excessively far forward just to get the feels to understand what that feels like, and then you can come somewhere in the middle. Now we're going to calibrate. So for calibration, I like to just walk down this line here without a ball and just starting on the target side of the line, the chalk, the masking tape, make some swings, and can you just try and land the club right after that line, right on or after that line at the very edge there. So 2 pretty good ones there. And you can walk down the line and maybe go 5 or 10 depending on time, but I'll just go 5 here and just see how many. So that was a little bit too far forward. Just see how many you can get good. That was probably a touch too far behind. So give myself maybe 3 out of 5, maybe 4 out of 5 there. And then I'll bring a ball in some live fire rounds, and you can just start to hit balls. Just putting that again slightly forward of that line to give you some room to get the ball first. And from here, we'll do some live fire shots and just say, get an awareness of where am I entering the ground? Where's my low point? So that one was pretty good there, 1.39 smash factor. Again, you'll know straight away if you get it heavy here and your low point's too far back, then that smash factor is going to drop off a ton. What was that there? 0.88 and the ball speed, nowhere there. So that's that fat shot, that frustrating shot that plagues so many golfers. So you know that that's not quite correct. If you're doing that, then you go back to the progression exercises with the towel without the ball. But from here, it's just a wonderful, just a wonderful training there. You've gone through the progression, now you start to calibrate it. And like I say, if you're struggling with that still, then just jump back to some of the progressions. So quick recap there, guys. You've taken away 3 key drills today. The first one is the progression if you're indoors using the towel there, the chalk, the spray, the masking tape to improve your low point, shifting that further forward for those that are hanging back. Number 2 was if you're outdoors, how to use the grass and the tees and your divots to use the same progression drill. And then number 3 was how to then calibrate that, whether you're indoors or outdoors, using again the chalk, the spray, the masking tape, or the tees outdoors on the grass there. So guys, if you found that helpful, please click the like button, click the subscribe to be notified of future videos as well. And please let me know in the comments below which of those drills helped you the most. And guys, if you want to fast track your ball striking, then the best way is through the ball striking blueprint course. Click the link in the description below for that. Thank you so much for watching. I really do hope that helps, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. At Danny Malcolm Golf, I take pride in helping golfers build world-class ball striking, and I've been doing it for over 20 years. And now you can train with the exact same drills and skill building exercises I use with my private students here in the studio every single day, and all for less than the price of an in-person lesson with me. The ball striking blueprint is guaranteed to improve your ball striking. No guesswork, just a clear plan that works. So join the thousands of golfers who've already transformed their game by clicking the link in the description below to get started, and I'll look forward to seeing you on the inside.